Welcome to the Unfiltered Path podcast, where we explore life's journeys without the constraints of filters. In a world saturated with highlight reels, we dive deep into the true essence of individual experiences, offering our listeners an uncensored glimpse into the triumphs, the struggles, and the transformative moments that define us. Our mission is to provide hope, inspire resilience, and remind you that every path, no matter how windy or rocky, can lead and will lead to growth and enlightenment. Join us as we navigate the uncharted territories of truth and to be moved, be inspired, and discover that you are not alone on this unfiltered journey of life. Hello, everyone. My name is Trinity Baker, one of your co-hosts here on the Unfiltered Path podcast. I am a mindset coach, life coach, mindset hacker, all of those amazing things. And I'm joined here with my co-host.
Hi, my name is Danielle Hirsch. I am an aerialist, owner of Aerial Jade. I'm also a teacher. I perform, my aerialists perform. So I'm the hub of the circus. And I'm here with my co-host.
My name is Graham Duval. My company is Valued Productions, and we produce and implement video marketing strategies to help your business become more successful. And I am super excited today on our Season 2, Episode 1, to be joined by this wonderful guest.
Thank you, guys. I'm Jay Sanborn. I'm from Thrive, and I work with small businesses primarily in Maine, New Hampshire, but we're global now. So thanks to the power of Zoom. So just working with small businesses, help them with their digital presence online and helping them organize their businesses and navigate the new world of technology, which most businesses struggle with. So I just really enjoy what I do.
So I think I totally forgot to drop that bomb on Jay that this is the first episode of Season 2.
Yeah, but that's
no pressure, Jay. At all whatsoever.
That's
no pressure. Come on, I'm good.
That's what's super exciting about it is on our podcast, we seem to get those natural experiences. So super unfiltered.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, so we just filmed a couple of days ago the last episode of Season 1, and we did so much reflection. And so since then, in my mind, I've been thinking like how excited I am for all of our future podcasts, because I feel like I personally gain. I know we're in this for the listeners. Like we love you and appreciate every single one of you listening here today. But personally, I get so much from every single podcast. So much.
Most
I feel like I'm always in a professional setting, like even when I'm an aerialist and not in a professional setting, right? So I'm always have to be in that space. So a lot of my story isn't PG. You know what I mean? So, and that can really value and enrich an adult or even a young adult's life, especially as an athlete. I can really kind of relate in a businesswoman. So I like having that space to be authentic and a little, how it really happened, how we really got to success, like
that's
rainbows. And I think sometimes, icons of their art or celebrities to the extreme, they almost have to become this perfect version of them all the time. And then when something bad happens, people are like, oh, no, we wouldn't have let them tell us authentically that they're kind of messed up humans too. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to have a career like that. So the podcast is giving me that place where I can be like, no, I'm all of it.
Exactly. You're human, right? Yeah.
It's a great point you bring up, Danielle, where like how we got into this and like the journey and whatnot, which I'd like to learn a little bit more about you, Jay, and like how you got into this and like what's going on with you.
So I made the transition and so I didn't speak to this yet, but I was in public service. I was an EMT for 35 years in law enforcement, whatever, right? And I taught school for 12 and just whatever, right? Did all of those things, but I knew that there was always something I was destined more for. And I always had this thrill for sales and I enjoy working with people. And so my wife and I in 2015 started our own business. And being a new business in Maine, as you guys probably know, it's tough, right? We've all been there. Mm-hmm. And so I had no idea what I was doing, coming from the world of nothing, right? And So just knowing that, okay, I need to learn. And how do you learn? Like one of your podcasts, you talked about being around the 5 people that you want to emulate, right? So hanging around. So I found those people and I worked with those 5 people and I started to adapt and adopt a lot of their mindset and their goals. And then I started doing mindset coaching and business coaching. So in 2015, though, and I think was really pivotal, I think this is going to really kind of transition us probably into another whole topic, but I was the most negative person you could speak to on a daily basis in 2015. I have completely changed everything about my life because number one, I found God. Number two, I found out who I really was. And I needed to understand how I was acting every single day in my business was affecting my results. And if you don't wake up every day and have that moment of like, I need to be, number one, grateful for everything I have, God's blessed me, whatever, right? But also understanding what your goals are and where you're going and figuring out how you're going to get there and how you're not going to get in your own way and sabotage your own business. Because this right here sabotages our mind is like the gold, right? And we all know that. And you hear it all the time. But I'm a prime example of that because now I don't live in any negativity. I challenge myself. One of my things my coach did, which I love this, and I'll challenge everybody that listens to this to do this because it's the hardest thing I ever did in my life, is a 30-day, no negativity, no complaining challenge. As soon as you find yourself complaining about something at a red light, complaining about the light taking too long, or the guy in front of you that's driving, we all do it, right? We think, what the, no blinker, no, whatever, right? So if you do that, you got to reset your 30 days. So you got to see how long you can go. And can you get to 30 days? And my wife and I competed in that so hard. Like, you just complain. Have somebody that you hang around with a lot participate with you. It's so fun. But anyway, so just transitioning, I built an incredible business of over 3,000 sales staff in that business. My wife and I traveled all over. We did speaking engagements. But what set us apart was being able to do the things other people weren't willing to do. There's a lot of things, a lot of people say, I'm not going to drive here, do this, do that. We did it. And we never made an excuse. Just living every day, not having those excuses. And that's how I became successful. And then I decided I wanted to, that business we still have and we still build and still pays us extremely well. And my wife manages most of that while I do my Thrive thing. And I love what I do with Thrive. So this is where I always wanted to get in working with small businesses. So this is kind of like right up my alley. So that's where I came from. Yeah.
Love that, Jay. And you heard it, listeners, 30-day challenge. We're challenging you to go do this. No negativity for 30 days. I'm going to try this as well. So we'll check back with everybody.
Accountability partner.
Yeah, absolutely. It's harder than you think.
Accountability to this podcast. Tune in every week and we'll check in on how we're doing with this 30-day no negativity challenge.
I like that. I will take that on because I'll be honest. I'm one of those people that sit in the fact that I know I have negative thoughts. And when I have them, and I'm very transparent and self-aware, but it would be nice to maybe put a little more effort into retraining my brain. I've been actually thinking about that lately. What I love so much about you, Jay, is you're the ultimate caregiver. But what's interesting is only when you started investing in yourself did you find happiness. So thank you for your service. So you said cop, MT, and teacher. Yes, you said all 3?
All that.
That's pretty incredible. So
I can go on. Yeah.
Trinity's story similar where, she was a caregiver, but she was never really giving to herself. So I just wanted to commend you.
I think that's why when I met Jay, our first meeting was like an hour and a half, and we had to be like, okay, we should probably stop talking now.
Yeah.
Like, I am so passionate about those people. And this is why I do this for work, because I'm so passionate about the people who realize how flippin' powerful our minds are. Like, it's mind-blowing to me how much of the world does not understand that. What's also me is that in my mind, I can envision what the world would be like if we all understood that. Like, it blows my mind because, like, a study was done before the pandemic even hit. And it was that 86% of Americans are unhappy. Unhappy. Those are the ones that are willing to admit it.
Well, we're programmed.
Fantastic. Yes.
That's the hard part. Yeah, we're programmed to be sad and in a lower vibration so other people can like suck the life out of us almost. And we're literally in a large design of it. So it's really not, that's why. But it's beautiful to see that, you know, it really is the mind and how many people are more collectively coming together with this awareness. That's why the Trinity are thriving. It's because people are finally going, wait, this is worth investing in, or you know, or even when someone has like a misbehavior or goals, hey, go get a mind check. Like this is a normal conversation now, right? So there's hope, but it's crazy because not only do we have to train ourselves to be better, but we're kind of riding against the current, right? There's other intentions to keep us back always, every day.
Mhm.
Like for me, one thing I take into account though is it is the power of the mind, but I detox. I believe in fasting. Even in the Bible, it says that to have your prayers answered, you must fast. Like that's the way that you get what you prayed
All
for.
right. I got to jump in here, Daniel. You have absolutely no idea how weird it is that you just said that. Because when I got back from my cruise, yes, I ate a ton over the holidays, whatever. But a friend of mine reached out who happened to be in business with me in the past and was one of the guys I mentored, who said, we've got about 35 people doing a fast, extended fast. And wondering if you want to participate. And I'm like, I'd love to. But sure, absolutely, especially coming back from my cruise. So yeah, let me know what we're doing, right? And we do like training calls, like, you know, everybody gets on and we encourage each other. But we started another one on the 14th, 3 more days. And I did, my wife and I did 87 hours the first time.
Yes.
And we're pushing for 90 this time. And we're doing it, going to try to do it like once a month. But you got to do it with your mind too, not just your body, but your mind. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's about 3 days, and that's all it is. And you either want to go to water and or just juice, or just fruit, or just veggies. And you really work within that group, and you go as extreme as you're capable of. But it's only 3 days. It's really just
It's easier than a stop.
Programs.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
definitely.
It's something I wish I talked more about. So I'm glad we're even. I feel like I'm so out there. People are just like, what is she talking
Crazy. I
about?
had absolutely no idea that was
Well-
going to come up today, but how cool that it did, right?
Yeah.
That's,
Well, you are out there. You are out there,
I'm
Danielle.
an athlete, right? And I'm also very spiritual. And a lot of it came from self-discipline with consumption
Mm.
in all forms, whether I was a drug addict or I ate the wrong foods. You know what I mean? I've been on all the spectrums and I've overcome them all. And a lot of it is that the gut is the center of our mind, you know, that it really is, communicates with each other. It's also the discipline that comes with it. It's also the cleanliness, and that things are put in our everyday stuff that has negative intentions to keep us slow and stagnant. So it really just does that reset button. And I really like juicing, and I keep it to myself. But the juice from a melon, okay, is called H3O2. And the level of hydration that is for your muscles is the one advice I give athletes. I was just with a semi-pro athlete. He was telling me about a calf injury. He's my son's coach. And he must think I'm a crazy person. My only response was, you should drink melon water.
that's a great response.
You're like, I need to go. I had this surgery. And I'm like, you should drink melon water. I have a cucumber a day. Period. So that's my tip. That's what I have to say.
It's these small habit shifts that completely change your mindset in your life. Like 100%, it could be fasting, it can be journaling, it can be juicing, it could be literally you name it, as long as it is positive, it supports you, it empowers you. When you create the routine and the habits and use those and replace the disempowering ones, which we all know what they are, slowly, because we can't do it all at once. That's not how you shift your identity to keep it long term. So it's just like a diet, right? You can go and yo-yo diet and do every diet you want, but like it doesn't shift your identity. I love that Graham said, like, Danielle, you are out there because you are your own identity. You are that person that's like, melon juice. Like, go drink it. I love that about you. Because listen, people think I'm crazy when I'm like, do you know I journal an average of 8 times a day? And they're like, where do you find that time? I'm like, well, I just don't scroll social media for 20 minutes every hour. It's an empowering habit. The new habit that
Type of discipline. You're right.
It's all about consistency. You know, when you can develop that consistency, whether that's in, you know, I talk about it a lot in marketing and like doing videos and things like that, but, you know, life too, when you can develop that consistent, even if it's like you said, once a month, but do it on a time horizon, that's consistency. It doesn't have to be like everyday thing. Some things can be, you know what I mean? You have to do things every day, but it's about what can you find that's consistent that helps make those steps in those right directions.
Like, I quit drinking coffee recent, but I had a coffee today, so we're only going to say so much. But I did do like a hard where I stopped for a while, right? So I did it with intention because it dehydrates me, and I know this. So, but that was last month, and then this month I want to get back to fasting. So we don't have to be perfect all the time, right? But it's this like pattern of always trying to evolve. Jay, you lucked out. You found an accountability peer to fast with. That is like a blessing. Like, somebody put that person in your life, because I wish I had that all the time.
So I just feel like when somebody brings that to you, there's so much, like, we didn't evolve here overnight, right? Like, all of us are still dealing with our demons in our closets, trying to deal with all that stuff that comes at us every day. That stuff still comes at us, right? We just have our way of developing ourselves to deal with those things. And the fact that, like, this guy who had previously been in my life, he's brought me other things that have completely changed my life as well, which was my mindset coach and all of that. But also, I just think it also opens you up to being more willing to do those little things. It doesn't have to be an all at once. It's going to happen overnight or whatever. It's just developing in your mind that I want to do something different. Because how many people stay stuck? I say there's so many people that just stay stuck because it's comfortable. That's where they want to live. They feel comfortable there, but then they are miserable. And I was that person, you know, sitting in the parking lot, not wanting to walk through the door at work every day, crying, like, isn't there something better? Because I don't like this anymore, right? So we just stay stuck there because we feel like we have to. But it's a huge fear to step outside that, but it all takes little steps, like, to get yourself.
Oh, like, there's this new version of us on the other side of not going to that. You see what I mean? That's the scary part. It's like, what do I become? Like, that's crazy.
It's your true self. Like, it's not even new. It is not a new identity. It is who that you're meant to be. Like, it is always there. You just have to do the crap to take it out. Like,
right.
That's true.
Like, literally uncovering like snake skin off of a snake. Like, you know, like I love like the caterpillar to the butterfly, because I think it like totally, the fact that nature does that is a symbol of like,
Right.
like that's what
It was incredible.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Jen, I'm going to you as a spokesperson for my business, so.
Right. Well, I will tell you, that was a huge part of my wife's transition. Like, we were both feeding off each other. So when you're in a negative state and you're feeding off each other, you become that much more negative. But when I will also say that if you do have an accountability partner that's with you, and thank God I do, she's amazing. I love, you know, everything about her. For the most part, we do well, and but we do everything together, right? And so it's really good because, you know, when the fasting thing came up, I didn't think she was going to do it because she's not really into that kind of stuff. And then I started it, and she's like, I'm like, so what are you going to have for dinner? She's like, I'm doing the fasting thing. I'm like, oh, well, I was preparing my mind for like, okay, if somebody cooks something right now, how am I going to push myself through it, right? Like, how am I going to do it? So, but then she's like, no, I'm going to do it as long as I feel like I can, you know? And like, I'm like, well, then we're going to work together. And yeah, so just having, I mean, I think anything, it's so hard to hold our thoughts.
Yeah, right. It loves you for someone to tell me. Like, I'm like, oh, this is great.
Well, and you can go out online on YouTube and watch some of our videos, like for when we used to do speaking. You know, it's sometimes quite comical because Yeah.
that like simple intimacy that she's like, no, I'm gonna do it with you.
Right.
Like,
Like, it's really
what a
cool.
beautiful thing.
Yeah. And I just think that, the benefits and all of that. But I think too, like, just we're accountable to ourselves only to a point. Like, I can hold myself accountable for things, but it's always like, oh, just that one little snap. Or just skip the gym one day, right? You gotta have a way to put that accountability in your life, right? Whether it's a significant other, a friend, right? So,
Well, the beauty about that is, like, when you think about it, an accountability partner, you're putting it out into the world. Like, that other person is that way of, like, putting it out there. When you put stuff out like that, it makes it that much easier to fulfill what you're doing. Like, and so I totally agree. I think it makes success that much easier.
right. And I mean, you can navigate it alone, but then you always have those. I mean, our minds are already programmed to do the things that we choose to tell ourselves to do.
I was just talking about how I want to someday hire people for my business, and you're just like, you're killing it.
But I feel so passionately about it because I know what it did for me, right? Like, so, but also, like, you can choose every day. So when you're running your own business and you're trying to grow, like, hey, like, okay, can I drive 7 hours, go do this thing, and then be back to do another event the next day, another 7 hours back, and wake up and still be fresh enough to do an event the next day? Can I do this? It's not a can I do this? I have to do this. I will do this. And no, never put that can't in there, right? That can't and not exist in your life. Like, you just have to always be willing to do what the others are not willing to do.
I love that.
Exactly.
Because I think, and I think all three of you here, and probably all of the entrepreneurs that are listening to this, and busy people who are just busy and doing all the amazing things that you do, regardless of where you work or what you do for a career, how many times has someone said to you, I don't know how you do it all? And I'm just like, I didn't know there was a choice. Like,
Right.
Right.
and I'm confused. It's like, we're supposed to be here to live this thriving, amazing, epic life, and no one's gonna do it for you.
You kidding? I can't sit in my recliner, eat ice cream, and watch Prices Right all day. Are you kidding me? I can't do that? Or can I? Right?
Yeah, but I think it's okay to have those phases. Like, I wouldn't take
Exactly.
that life away.
Yep. 100%.
But yeah, I'm an
That's totally
earthly,
great.
and I say that in a vague way. I'm an irrealist, so that means I have to celebrate failures. I'm learning a new move regularly, which means for 3 to 4 weeks, I got to do all this conditioning to finally get a move. And I got to fail about 100 times plus before that. And then I got to teach other people to be acceptable with failing to come to my class so I can do it as a job. It is like that to me, I don't know. That's where the mindset really lies, right? And that ability to kind of not be great at things and
Right. But you're doing it with the end in mind, right? So if you're intentionally setting yourself up for success by those little daily things that you have to do and failing, that's part of the program, right? That's the formula to get there. But if you don't know what the end is, right, it's the formula. Like, the failure is part of the formula. So you got to kind of mix in, how do you get past that, right? If you are truly intentional about where you're going, and you have your goals in your mind, and you've worked yourself through that. Like, what is it you truly want? Like, or what is it you're trying to achieve, right? And you know what that feels like on the other end and what that's going to do for you. And just truly being in touch with that. That's part of our why, right? And we talk about why all the time. We never teach how to get to the why. Like, how do I make that why stand out? How do I make that my passion? So you got to just really be in tune with that. And that's what you're doing by doing that. Those little steps every day. And it's the same thing that we do every day. Like, I have a thing in my office that says win the day. Just find something today that's successful and win the day, right?
Yep.
So whatever you do today, find something in your day. But then some days it's going to be falling, right? It's not that, but that's still a win because it's part of the formula to get there. It's still growth.
The failure formula concept can we make that a thing? So can you word it? Is that a hashtag? I think we've made a couple.
I think failure formula, hashtag failure formula, right? I don't know if I could say it 5 times fast.
It really is true. Like when you're talking about like manifesting stuff and like bringing reality to life, like tapping into how it feels, like that thing that you're trying to get. Like, okay, if you're looking to get $100,000 in your bank account, what does it feel like to have that and like sit in that and be in that moment? Because that's going to be the thing that pushes you forward, and it eventually is going to make that thing come to fruition. And that's how, you tap into the reality bending and making things happen and your life changing. And I love what you're saying about winning the day, because it's like, as long as I have that one thing today, the day could go like crazy and like all this stuff. And like, I know me personally, I always have this one thing that as long as I am that, I consider it a win. You know what I mean? Because for me, like I have like, mine is sobriety. So like things could go absolutely crazy, like shit hits the fan, whatever. As long as I am still sober, to me, that's a 100% win. And it's like, okay, tomorrow is a reset, and then you like feel what that stuff is on the other side, and it happens like 100%.
But in order to celebrate those wins, we have to know going into it what that win. We have to identify what it is we consider. And if it is part of the failure, then okay, then at least I failed the 3 times I expected to today, right? Or whatever it is, because then it could be the win. So because you're going to have that as part of the process. Like, great that Danielle brought that up. Like, she knows she's going to fail along the way, fall 100 times, whatever it is. But if you don't have that measure, she'll be able to measure whether it's a win or not, right? But you've got to be able to identify it and know, because that's part of the roadmap to get where you're going, right? So
100%. I love it.
That's right. Awesome.
So when this episode comes out, make sure #failure is the formula.
There we go.
Yeah. So I got one of these questions.
Pick a random card for us. We'll change up the card.
I got 4. If you could take a 2-day crash course in any field of endeavor, what would it be?
That's a tough
2 weeks
one.
course in any field.
Yeah. So let's see.
Morally, I want to say parenting or conscious parenting. Selfishly, I would say either a really big comedian or actor to help me navigate. So Ariel Jade is a brand, and I'm training lots of people to be the best performers they can. And I feel that if I tapped into, I always knew I was capable of that. That's why I do stand up. I see that I'm capable of it. So I don't necessarily want to be an actor for the rest of my life, but I do have to get to a certain level of that awareness of art so I can teach other people and find it in them too. And I feel that that would be my 2-week courses. I would want to be on like some type of large set. So I see the staging again. Like I've seen Cirque 9 times and they were my friends. I've seen the underground of Cirque. There's a reason why I am very, very, very valuable. And I'm so small, but the people that work with me know I'm valuable. And it's because I've seen how these shows were created and the layering and the training that comes from the artists and how normal. That's why I had 2 kids in a row. Women athletes told me to do that. Anyways, so I would want to see the production behind what I think I'm capable to make the performers, and not limited to just aerialist performers, under the guidance of me, to find their best artistry and to produce opportunities for them. I would take a 2-week course to allow that to happen. That would be, I can't believe I even mustered up that thought, but that's really what it would be. That's what I don't think I asked myself that question, or like, I love this because it really draws out, something new.
Question, because it's opened up my mind to like, if I could be basically even more of an expert anywhere, in my mind always goes to like, how can I make a bigger impact with what I know? Because we should literally just talked about 40 minutes, how impactful mindset and transformations are in stepping into your true self. I think I would probably take some type of course or learn from some type of expert on how to be even more impactful and how to be even more heard. Because if I could somehow get people to hear me quicker and more in a more impactful way so that transformations were even quicker, or that I could somehow make it so that I could reach even more people than I'm working with now or have the ability to work with. I think I'd take some type of course. I don't know what that would be, but I would take some type of course, maybe communication or impact or something, because I literally failed public speaking a billion times in college because I was never going to do this type of stuff ever in my entire life. So I certainly didn't pay attention. I'll tell you that much.
I love it.
What about you, Jay? What's yours?
Oh, shoot. I was hoping you were going before me because I'm still wrestling with this.
I'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have one. Yeah. So Trinity, I was gonna say first one that came to mind was I could go for a 2-week course in like fixing cars, because I don't know anything about that. But then you said public speaking, and like I really related with that. I've got some things in the works right now that I think a solid 2-week crash course in like how to deliver presentations and like better public speaking and like English, like that kind of vibe all tied into one would really benefit me right now. So I'm going to go with that.
I love that, Graham. Have you ever read the book Talk Like TED?
No, I have not.
What again?
We'll have to check that out. Talk
Yeah,
like
that's
TED.
a good one. Mhm.
Well, we have BNI, so we practice the 60 seconds. So we already are like micro trained for our goals. I do stand up to help with that, right? So I want to be funny and awkward in front of people, and it's still an intimate environment. So I'm gonna have to agree. It's interesting because I think we're all leaning on the same thing, right? To be able to expand what we already have to a larger scale, and in that comes with we're more face front with our business, and that would be reaching more people. That's
Right.
interesting that it's
Right.
pretty much
Yeah.
the same kind of goal.
I think it's really great stuff because, yeah, all three of the things that you guys have kind of reflected on are like pieces of the growth factor that you're looking for, but they're things that it's interesting because we want to be better, right? So it's all about, because you could have picked anything, like I want to be a helicopter pilot or whatever, right? But no, you pick things that make you better and do better in the things that you do every day, right? So I guess for me, I mean, I wasn't going to lean this way because it seems like might be using it as a crutch, but I really work hard in my faith to stay really spiritually connected. And I think that I would want to immerse myself to be more in my faith, just because there's always things I hope that comes all across the right way, and just that I think I do try every day. I do my morning devotional and things like that, but I just think I want to have more of that, like, because it's what really sets your mind even at ease a little bit more with things. So I found it. Yeah.
Definitely. I love that.
You just touched my heart.
Oh my gosh.
Because, like,
Yeah.
I was just nodding, like I could use 2 weeks of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. I try to stay in that spiritual realm all the time, kicking my day off with prayers and meditation and all that stuff. And it just resonates with me a lot.
We get to,
Yeah.
and it's just being able to harness that on a larger scale.
Mhm.
It just sounds amazing. I felt like the gold sparkly things all around me when you said that, like a warmness. Like I was like, oh, I want to feel light like that. Like, oh, just like in that space of faith. Like, thank you for reminding me. Honestly, I needed that.
You know,
Would totally go monk it out for like 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like, and then what you come away with, like, I'd be so excited about how I would feel after that, right? And so I guess
Mhm.
that was the first place I went. I thank my daughter for that because she's totally like way better than me at this. And she's just always reminding me, and she's, I mean, I don't know how she is where she is mind wise, but she's like killing it in life and spiritually and everything. You know what I mean? Like, she's just doing great and hasn't always been that way for her. So it's great too. And to be able to see that, I mean, it's great.
I have this.
I love how that you said you learned spirituality from your daughter. That's like really impactful and beautiful.
I have this goal of doing the Appalachian Trail, but it's like twofold. One, physically, yes, I love hiking, but it's really for like that sanctuary of no life, no communication, like total meditation, like spiritual connection for just weeks on end. That's all I want. And so like Appalachian Trail is where I've named that, just because then I can like harness the ability of like nature's ability for us and how much I love nature and grow my love for nature even more. So I love that, Jay. That's like, I love that.
So what you just said about that, though, that just tells me, so, I mean, the Appalachian Trail, that's a huge venture, like for you to be able to do that for weeks at a time. But I always say break it down into bites. A 30-minute a day, like complete, like unplug, right? That's your thing. So, but that's your Appalachian Trail. Every little piece of that, right? So what's your Appalachian Trail? That's like finding those things that are going to get you there. It might seem like it's almost insurmountable, but
We have a lot of goals as a group now. So we have no complaining month, 3-day fasting, and what's the name of the trail again?
Appalachian Trail. Yeah.
The Appalachian Trail 30-minute meditation. I love it. Like, I got a plan. I got so much to do.
What a way to start off. What a way to start off episode 1 of season 2. All our listeners are like ready to go now.
This, I love.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Jay, thank you so much for being an amazing
Thank you, Rob.
on season 2 episode of the Unfiltered Path podcast. And a huge thank you to all of our listeners. You know, we really bring you this podcast because we want to show you that every single one of our journeys is so rocky and bumpy and twisty and windy and turny, and you would have no idea. And so we hope to give you that inspiration, that hope, that clarity that every single one of the challenges we've overcome has brought us to where we are today. And so like embrace the heck out of these freaking challenges, because that is what's going to get you to where you want to be. And we hope that this podcast gives you exactly that. And we want to thank you for listening, because it is like such an honor, the fact that people are actually listening to us. Like,
I know, because he totally quoted our first episode in the beginning, and believe it or not, like for a moment that was very rewarding. So I want to thank you, because he literally quoted a gem. So not only did you listen to it, but you gathered something from it, which was who are you hanging out with.
So if you haven't shared our podcast, please share it with your family and friends, because we all have a ripple in this world, and we have the responsibility of making sure a ripple is positive. And so if one thing you win today, like Graham was talking about, if one thing you win today is that you share this podcast with someone you think could really use some hope and inspiration, like please do that. We are on Facebook, Instagram, we've got a YouTube, we've got our website where all of our podcasts are listed. Just share that link with your favorite friend. Like,
Spotify, guys.
All of that stuff. And so we try to make it as easy as you can to share, because we just want these messages to get out there and make our positive ripple and impact in the world. So my name is Trinity Baker. I am one of your co-hosts here. I am a life coach, mindset hacker. I help people live their fullest, happiest life. And you can find me on social media at The Trinity Baker. And then my website is thetrinitybaker.com. I'm always posting some inspirational, happy, amazing stuff, at least once, if not 6 times a day. So go follow me. And I'm joined here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm the owner of Ariel Jade. Thank you so much for joining us. You can find me on most media platforms, either Ariel Jade or Ariel Jade Art. You'll find splits and flying in the air and little humans and grown adults doing it too. Yeah, and little fun athletic facts throughout the week. So you can also find the Unfiltered podcast on all platforms. And we are here with our wonderful co-host that edits it all.
My name is Graham Duval, owner of Valued Productions. We provide video marketing strategies to businesses. My website is valuedproductions.com, VALUD productions.com. And same with all social media at Valued Productions. I have different tips on creating content for your business to help it grow. And I'm super glad to have had this wonderful guest on season 2, episode 1.
Jay Sanborn, currently with Thrive, and I work with small businesses. I love what I do. As you can see, I pretty much know that when I work with small businesses, I'm going to be able to help them in some way navigate. I can be found on Google, and you can find me on all the social media platforms as well. Again, it's Jay Sanborn. And anything, even if it's just to sit down and have a conversation, just like this, like having just a candid conversation. It's not always to me about business and selling or anything like that. It's more about what can I do to help, right? So just trying to be helpful to everyone in any way. So thank you guys for having me on. It's been such a pleasure. Awesome.
Yay, it has been our pleasure, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much to our listeners. We will catch you next time on the Unfiltered Path podcast.